Hey y'all! So I am so excited to share this video with you because it has been one of the most requested videos, and it's all about group shots at weddings. So at a wedding, I'm typically taking two types of group shots. So I'm taking group shots of families, and then I'm taking group shots of bridal party. I know for some photographers, taking family photos is like the least fun part of the day. And bridal party photos I know can be really intimidating because they were for me at first, but definitely with my experience and my strategies and all the tips I have for you, I think you're gonna love this video, and I am just sharing just exactly what I do. You're gonna see BTS of me at a wedding, that I'm gonna do voiceover explaining exactly how I'm making these things happen. Everything I need from the planner, from the bride. It's just gonna be awesome, and I'm just so darn glad that you're here, and I want your feedback, and let's do this. Let's start the video. I go into each wedding knowing how large my bridal party is going to be, as well as how many family members is going to be in the largest family photo. I know this because this is one of the questions I ask my bride before, and I'll also ask her for a detailed family photo list with first and last names. Let's get started with this bridal party. So for Allie and Max, I knew I was going into this day with a huge bridal party. I always arrive at my venue early to scout and get comfortable with my surroundings. And I know that with a huge bridal party, I'm gonna need levels. So stairs make great levels, areas that have seatings like bars, bar stools, couches, things like that. But in this case, I had to create my own. So I went and found a few couches and stools that Allie and Max had rented for their cocktail hour. And we moved them to this perfect location I had scouted that I knew was gonna have shade when we were ready to do our shots. I told you guys before, I am a professional furniture mover. So the first thing I'm going to do is envision where my bride and groom are going to sit. So I might not place them there like first because, you know, this is their wedding day. I don't want them to just like be sitting there like robots. But I had a vision already before I start placing people where I'm going to put Allie and Max. So traditionally, my bride and groom, I would place like in the middle of the photo, but Allie and Max are a little less traditional, so I knew that I could set them like off center to the side. Allie is a lot shorter than Max, so I knew it was gonna have to be one or two things. Either she was gonna have to be sitting in his lap, or she was gonna have to be like sitting up on the higher raised edge of the sofa. The first thing I did is I am looking at the tallest people because those people are going to go in the back. So what's closest to your camera is going to appear bigger. You're going to need to bring the shorter people closer to the front. And I start this off, I'm just sort of placing people. I'm not directing them exactly how to sit yet. I'm just placing my women closer to the front. I'm making sure I'm not putting all of my blondes together and all of my brunettes together. In this case, my bridal party all have different dresses, and I really want to make sure that I am placing them in a way that I am showing their beautiful dresses. So, you know, the ruffles on the side, the uniqueness of the dress, because, you know, my bride and her bridesmaids went through a lot of trouble to pick these dresses, so I want to show them. If there's couples in this wedding party, that makes it really easy because you can, you know, create levels by placing the girl in his lap. A lot of times I will even start it off by saying, is anybody here couples or married or something like that? So that'll be great. Another thing I want to point out is that I step back several times, and I am very, very, very focused. And I breathe and I take my time because for me, I know that my clients want quality over quantity. They really do. So here you can see, like specifically, I am showing her exactly how to sit. So I'm showing her that she needs to sit with my girls. They need to sit like on the edge of the chair or the edge of the stool. It's gonna be a more flattering position. So things are starting to come together pretty good here. So one thing I'm now going to do as my finishing touches is I want to create lines in this photograph to make it more interesting. So I'm using my bridesmaids' legs to create lines in this photograph so it doesn't look sloppy and organized. I'm going for a more like Vogue, very elevated look here. I want to make sure the flowers are they're all holding the flowers kind of differently. And I can see, you know, I don't want all of my bridesmaids' dresses to look the same. I don't want to see all of their shoes, just like a couple. So I also don't want like it to be all boy, girl, all boy, girl. I want that to also be kind of spread out where there's a few guys standing next to each other. So like I said, one of the tips about creating lines and making this very interesting is using the direction of the bodies. So you see, if I have 3 couples besides Allie and Max in this photograph, and they're all facing each other. So they're creating these V's. And then I've got the legs. See how all of my girls' legs are facing in different directions? And then my flowers are being held differently. And of course, I have the little one, the little cutie patootie flower girl in the front because she is the smallest and she's got to be there. So when I'm shooting these big bridal parties, I have a 24-70 in one hand and I have a 50mm in the other hand. So I'm very conscious with the 24-70 that I'm going to be taking vertical shots and horizontal shots because I don't know how she's going to want to place this in her album. So my go-to aperture for bridal parties this size is going to be anywhere from 5.6 to 8.0. I know now that I've gotten this shot that they're all looking at me, so now I need something that's a little bit more lifestyle. And I actually encourage them to keep talking, keep interacting with each other, and I go really close and I'll be taking vertical shots of, see what I'm doing here? I'm taking vertical shots of people interacting. So I'm catching these like real lifestyle moments and I'm encouraging them and I'm talking to them the entire time. I'm just getting details of the flowers here, really cool angles. This is really amazing. So when I'm shooting smaller bridal parties, 5 or 6 people, my go-to aperture would be 4.0. I have removed the gentlemen. The groomsmen have gone to take just some groomsmen shots. And now it's really about body language. It's really about separating, you know, my blondes versus my brunettes here. Really particular about how my bridesmaids are sitting, what direction their legs are going, you know, showing off those dresses. That pop of green with the flowers or any other florals, I think is really, really important. And if they're all just holding them in the same way, I feel like it doesn't look as lifestyle-y. Do you notice now that my bridesmaids' bodies are turned in different directions? You know, I'm creating an interesting look by turning some of them in towards each other. Some of them are facing forward. Some of them are facing in the opposite direction. So for something like this, this is still a big bridal party, so I am definitely up at 5.6. Again, I'm asking them to interact with each other, and if they sort of don't know what I mean by that, then I'll say like, oh my gosh, it's Allie's wedding day, you guys, it's finally here. You know, you guys are best friends, this is amazing. And during these moments when I see her laughing and having such a great time, you know, these are great moments for me to just capture natural moments here. All the girls, you know, they all deserve to have a beautiful shot of them standing up. So you can see their look head to toe. I'm being conscious here of the cuts of each dress and who I want on the people at the end. I'm being very conscious of who is at the end, and I can't tell you how many times I get my bridesmaids coming up to me and going, gosh, thank you so much for taking such good care of me. And you know, these things don't happen naturally because we're not dealing with professional models here. We're dealing with real people. So you really do have to take your time and show them sometimes. And when you have a male in your bridesmaids party, you want to make sure that he isn't beside your bride, even if it's her best friend in the world, because it could appear as if it's her groom. So I just am, you know, conscious of that. I'm telling them to sort of move their bodies, take their hips and shift them away from camera, And then a fun one that always works is walking towards me. Walk towards me, chat with each other. You know, no one get in front of Allie. Make sure that Allie's just, you know, she's in the front. Love each other, hug each other with your bodies. Like that's something that I say a lot. And if I see someone that's not doing it, I'll take the time to say, girl, get in there. These are your besties. So with my groomsman shot, a lot of times my second shooter might be taking this, and I can run over and take some shots, but I have dream boards and I have specific examples of what I give to my second shooters of exactly what I want of my grooms. This was a black tie wedding in Palm Springs. This is a fun set of guys, but I really need it to also be chic. I need that juxtaposy. You know, this venue is like funky, it's colorful, it's palm trees. So I want to make sure that we have some really like chic looking photos with the guys.